picture speaks 1,000 words. The old adage is true. So shouldn't your pictures speak your words? Ironically, in this era of high technology, most computer users settle for clip art and scavenged images to embellish their reports, flyers, newsletters, and invitations. Most people don't know that they can enhance and customize their work with their own graphics. Professional graphic designers know that using the right graphic, choosing the right font, adding the right border is key to grabbing the viewer's attention. Graphics Toolbox gives the world's non-graphic professionals the tools to make dynamic presentations too. This story quilt is an excellent example of how a student can pictorially convey what they have learned in their reading. This 9-year-old either drew or found images that illustrated the 4 important symbols in the story. He drew the heart and created the brand on the top, while he found images of a cowboy's gun and money bag on the internet. For those internet images, he used the irregular frame tool to select just the target image. He eliminated the background, which gave the picture more impact. He chose his font and colors to fit the theme. Lastly, he found old cattle drive photos and used the Graphics Toolbox pattern fill to drop them into the remaining spaces with a half drop pattern. If students can create these kinds of assignments at age 9 using Graphics Toolbox, imagine how good they will be by the time they graduate. 2 fifth-grade classmates read biographies and sat side by side creating these presidential posters. Do you think they could be more different? The first student worked very symmetrically. He chose a Stars and Stripes font and kept a red, white, and blue patriotic color scheme. By adding the black and white images of Orville Wright and the airplane, it gave the antique feeling necessary for his subject. He drew his own stars as bullets and was very proud of the final result. This was this student's first project using Graphics Toolbox. The second student wanted an asymmetrical layout. He used a presidential poster that he found on the internet of Hillary Clinton for a starting point. This became a true lesson in balance and composition, lessons that had been learned in art class and now could be applied to language arts. He thought he wanted the flag to extend all the way to the bottom of the poster, but the required writing wouldn't show up against it, no matter what color he made the font. Then he thought he wanted the red box at the bottom, but with the navy hat and flag, the poster was top-heavy. When he made the bottom navy, he put a navy shadow behind the heading to give more dimension. The key words on the right balance out the asymmetrical placement of the photograph. Finally, this boy found a photo of a baseball and used that for bullets with his key words. The final poster has impact, is very informative, and could not have been created by a 5th grader on any other program. This assignment required the students to make character cards, like baseball cards, of the important characters in a mystery book they had read. Using the Graphic Toolbox baseball card layout, the student filled in the pictures, names, and information required in the assignment while creating realistic cards in the process. Some math teachers like to teach their students how baseball statistics are calculated. Data can be compiled and calculated in Excel and pasted into Graphics Toolbox to create an exciting baseball card of the student's favorite players. This nonfiction poster was developed from a map within the book. It charted the path of the boy in the story. This student scanned the map into Graphics Toolbox and added pictures and images to show his understanding of the story. When he was finished, he printed it 2 ways, on coated paper and on regular paper, where he burned the edges and oiled it to give it a parchment look. Cereal boxes are used for homework assignments for all ages in creative arts, language arts, and marketing classes. This was designed by a 10-year-old who had to create a cereal based on a legend. He chose Rip Van Winkle. He started by scanning in a Go Lean cereal box. He used the irregular frame tool and framed one of the Go Lean cereal twigs, copied it, and then rotated it and created a Z-shaped cereal. He continuously copied those Z's into the Go Lean bowl, keeping the original spoon, strawberries, and bowl. He drew the dream image and put more Z's in there. To create an image of an old Rip, anxious to wake up and eat his Winky Z's, he scanned 2 images from the book, a young energetic one and an old bent over one. He combined the old head with the young body to get just the right look. Just like professional advertisers repeat their logos around a cereal box, this boy repeated his dream and Rip images on the front, back, and sides to create his brand. Recognizing character traits in literature is an important element of reading. This 10-year-old girl did a great job of displaying the words on the left and examples from the story on the right, using color to pull it together. She loves using the colorful ribbons to personalize and give the poster excitement. On the flip side, she used the Graphics Toolbox drawing tools to draw pictures from the story in the corners. Each of the boxes was framed with one of the exclusive fancy lines in a coordinating color. She typed a summary in the center and finished it off with the same colorful ribbon used on the other side. It was a fun project for the student, and it effectively showed her teacher that she understood the story. This newspaper cover, designed from the book Rules, shows great creativity by the student. She combined Graphics Toolbox and Microsoft Word by typing the articles in Word and pasting them into the newspaper cover format that she created in GT. Rules is a book about a girl who created a book of rules for her autistic brother. The student found internet images related to autism and incorporated them into the layout, with fancy lines and colorful ribbons from Graphics Toolbox. She even created her own image of the girl's book by taking an internet image of a book and typing words onto it. The layout, color, and images in this assignment reinforced the strong writing that the student did in the articles, making the final result very impressive. Graphics Toolbox gives faculty and students the tools they need to make powerful, effective posters and flyers. This science fair diagram was bold and effective and caught the eyes of the audience easily. Without reading a word, the viewer immediately understood that the project had something to do with basketball because of the great basketball graphic on the top of the board. The diagram at the bottom clearly showed the angles utilized in the problem, and this fourth grade scientist had many people stopping at his table to learn more about his project. Computer graphics is math, and functions of math can be reinforced with Graphics Toolbox. The line and rotate tools make angles easier for students to understand and draw. As a line is being rotated in GT, the feedback area shows the angle. This function helps the hands-on learners better comprehend this mathematical element. This fifth grade science fair project was also sports related. A mathematical formula was used to calculate how high 13 different sized balls were thrown by timing when they left the hand until when they hit the ground. The data was laid out in Excel, but it came to life when images of the balls were pasted from Graphics Toolbox. Viewers stopped all night at this table too, when they caught sight of the ball images and this effective data chart. A ninth grader created this cover for her poetry portfolio, and she was able to include many design elements because she used Graphics Toolbox. She imported internet images and used the irregular frame tool to select only the portion of the picture that she wanted, making the bird, trees, and forsythia bush look more realistic. She also drew in elements like the sun and daffodils and used flat color for the background to give the layout an imaginary quality. Including her own image and creating a sign entitled Hope pointing at her clearly set the theme for her poetry. The following 4 pages are excerpts from her 15-page portfolio. In her poem Broken, she designed the title word art to immediately convey her message to the reader. By using the fancy line to break up the page and the no hope and warning images, she sets a tone before the reader even begins her poem. The page was created in Graphics Toolbox and then pasted into MS Word. Then the poem was typed into carefully positioned text boxes. Her reflection on the poem Broken coordinated with the master, but the added band-aid was a new element introduced to further solidify her theme. For her next poem, what could be a better image than a pair of stiff blue jeans? Using the irregular frame tool again, she was able to select just the jeans and add them to the page. No background from the acquired image. The tape measure found in the Life Images library became an effective border. And a great final touch, if you look closely at the words, she filled the lettering with denim texture from the Textures library. The poem's reflection is well done because it coordinates but isn't matchy with the master. She used the blue jeans texture in the background this time and used the tape measure along the sides. Students are able to express their creativity easily in Graphics Toolbox because the tools are easy to use and create effective results that they can be proud of. So join the growing number of Graphics Toolbox users and give your students the 21st century tools they need to learn 21st century skills. Once you color their learning with Graphics Toolbox, the door will open to their imagination and there'll be no turning back.